Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today on Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today we're with Katie Dale from the Red Dirt Relief Fund. Katie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Katie, give us a little background on you, where you grew up, and talk about your career to where you're at now.
Yeah, I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and went to college in New Orleans, where I really embraced a love of music and got a chance to see a lot of good music there. And ended up going to work for Red Bull Energy Drink and doing marketing and events for them. And that's kind of where I got my foot in the door in working at festivals and putting on events related to music. And let's see, it was 11 years ago, I put together a festival for Red Bull called Gypsy Cafe.
Okay.
And when we were finished, Red Bulls asked me what I wanted to do to find a charity to give the proceeds to. And I was working with John Cooper from the Red Dirt Rangers and some other artists. And I asked them, what charity should we give these funds to? And they said, well, we should start our own. And that's how the Red Dirt Relief Fund was born. So 10 years ago, we started this nonprofit that provides a safety net, critical assistance to Oklahoma music professionals.
Okay.
And that includes people who work in production and management and, of course, musicians. And it's any genre, any profession, really, as long as you're making a living in the business and you find yourself in a tough spot. We try to provide financial assistance so you can pay your bills until you can get back on your feet.
Very good. Very good. Tell us a little bit about the festivals that you put on, especially in Oklahoma and in some of the other ones.
Yeah, so the Gypsy Cafe was the first festival that we ever did. It's become kind of our landmark fundraiser for Red Dirt Relief Fund, and we still do it in Stillwater every year. It's usually the last Wednesday of April, but we may be shifting it to a Sunday date this year just because, why not?
Right.
The whole world turned upside down for 2 years, so why not try something different? And that is a singer-songwriter festival. So usually we have about 60 artists that swap songs across at least 3 venues. We're hoping to add a couple more venues this year. We have a songwriting contest that's associated with it, and the winner performs as part of the festival. And it's really fun. It's a very inexpensive ticket. I think at the gate it's $30, and it's for all the venues. You can wander around all day and hear music. And
Nice.
So we try to make it really approachable so people get a chance to hear a whole lot of names they will know, but names they may not know, and have a chance to hear new talent. And then we do a festival in Tulsa in the middle of October every year called Skinner Fest, named after Tom Skinner, who's a very beloved local songwriter. And that one's been going on for, I think this is the 7th or 8th year we've done it. And a similar idea where it starts with song swap sets and then progresses into full band sets over a couple of venues that are all walking distance. And
Oh, nice.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of the same idea as we all just try to get everybody together and have a good time.
Very cool. Very cool. What was that transition for you like from Red Bull to be from, and I'm assuming they weren't always doing nonprofit events. So what are some of the similarities that you have brought into that where you're at now from a nonprofit standpoint?
Well, I had also always done a lot of charity work through my kids' schools, through just helping out however I could. And I always kind of ended up being the sponsorship or what we call a nonprofit development. So hustling money from people who have it.
Sure, sure.
And so I was grateful to have that experience. You know, I don't love asking people for money, but I try to promote this is what we're doing with it, and you can see the impact in the lives of people
Yeah.
that we're helping, and you love what they do, and so let's support them however we can. It makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's really all about networking and making connections. And that's the same way it is with festivals. It's the same way it is with booking a festival or putting together a charity event as part of a festival. Is very much about making as many friends as you can, staying in touch with folks, and delivering what you say you're going to deliver.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's good. What give me 2 examples in the years that you've been doing these festivals, two examples, like 2 moments that really stand out, a couple of moments, but it really just stand out where you were like, man, this is really making a difference for people?
Well, the first one that jumps to my mind is Gypsy Cafe. This is probably 2018 or 19. As one of the song swap sets with Stoney LaRue and Mike Hosty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mike Hosty is the person who originally wrote Oklahoma Breakdown, and Stoney, clearly made it a hit. The first person to make it a hit. Several more people have recorded it. And
Right.
so we put them on stage together and they did together, and it was pretty magical to hear Hosty doing the verses and Stoney singing the chorus. And they toyed back and forth about like who it was a really fun moment, and
Yeah.
probably one that will never happen before or since.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. And then another moment, part of what we do at Gypsy Cafe is what we call the Restless Spirit Award. And it is an award for an artist who has been influential to the scene, to the music scene in Oklahoma, in the way of Bob Childers. And that's a song, one of his songs is Restless Spirit. So the year right before Jimmy LaFave passed away, he was the first recipient of that award, and he came to the festival and made it on stage. And it was just a very emotional moment for everyone there, because we lost him pretty soon afterwards. And the same thing happened even after Chad Solins received the award this year. And his daughter was on stage to accept the award. And so we really, we try to do the best we can to honor those that have gone on, but also to try to honor and celebrate folks while they're here too. And so, it turns into a big love fest and sort of a family reunion. And that's a really fun part of it for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. All right, cool. I got a couple of live music questions for you. So you've seen a ton of shows in your life. You're going to continue to see a ton of shows. What's the best concert, the best performance you've ever seen?
I would say the best concert, and I've been answering this question for a long time, still probably hands down Paul Simon at Jazz Fest in New Orleans. Ooh. In the early or late 2000s or early 2000s. I mean, it was a long time ago, but there were probably 15 or 16 musicians on stage, and like full percussion, it was just literally blew me over.
There you go.
It was probably the moment when I realized I wanted to work in festivals.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
But another moment that it was equally magical for me is I grew up on Motown. My parents listened to Motown all the time. And so I got to see Aretha Franklin sing America at the first Obama inauguration with 1 million+ people, and everyone was singing along. And so, I mean, really any moment when people are together and enjoying music or singing music together, it really moves me.
Okay. All right. All right. You could bring one act to the Red Dirt Really Fun, dead or alive, who would you bring?
I would probably have to say I would bring Leon Russell back to life to come to Skinner Fest in Tulsa. Recently, in the last year and a half, Teresa Knox has completely renovated his church studio here in Tulsa. Mm-hmm. And there are so many fans that come here just to even see and learn about his history while he was here. And he's from Oklahoma. I just think it would be a really cool moment to see him perform and see kind of what the community has become here in Tulsa, because I think it's grown a lot since the days when he was here. Yeah,
that sounds great. Absolutely. Katie, how do people find out more about what you're doing with the Red Dirt Really Fun?
Check out our website. It's reddirtreallyfun.org. Okay. And it's all of our events and information. And if you want to get involved or get in touch, you can find us there.
Very good. Katie, thank you for being on with us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine.